Hello, guys, welcome to this podcast, Everyday Talkies, which ironically does not come out daily. I am Anshul and I talk about random things to random people, majorly about life, perspectives, and thinking process. It's like an interview, or let's say more of a conversation with one or two guests about random topics that interest us. To be really honest, it's just a way to reduce my inhibitions in talking to people. So come join me and enjoy. Hello, guys, welcome to the new episode of Everyday Talkies, or should I say Startup Talkies. So, today with us, we have the team of Big Bang Media. Now, personally, they are my friends, they are my college mates, but I have no idea about the company. And it's embarrassing of me that being college mates, I have not caught up with what they're doing. I just see their social media posts here and there, and which got me interested. So, I reached out to them and, just forced them to come here and talk about their company, talk about their journey and their learning. So, why don't I stop blabbering and I'll give this platform to Piyush. Okay, before going on to Piyush, I must say we have three people here, Piyush, Dhaval and Avi. We'll talk to each one of them, but I'll start with Piyush and ask him, for me and for everybody who is listening, what is Big Mac Media and how did you become associated with it, or how did you start it?
Yeah, hello everyone. So first of all, from the college onward, I did BCA. But in the middle of the college, Avi and Dhaval, I think people realized that for coding and everything is not for us. But still, I had a very good job from college in a very good IT company, and the job was in Mumbai. So I went to Mumbai, and for a couple of weeks they trained us basically on the codings and on the programming aspects of the things. Basically, in that 2 weeks, I realized that I didn't like the culture over there, and I can't do programming for a little bit of my life. I also chose that company because that company was located in Mumbai, because I knew if I wanted to switch to other things, then in Mumbai I can easily switch to media and other fields very easily. So I handed over a resignation to the company that I don't want to work with you anymore. And I started finding some jobs in Mumbai, in media field, artist management, event management, and so on. But still, on paper, I didn't had a good experience of media industry. I couldn't find a job which I wanted to, because now since I left a very good job, so I wanted to do at least something which I liked. I basically wanted to do something which I had a passion in. So when I was in Mumbai, I had a rough idea of Big Bang when I was in college, and I used to discuss the rough idea with Avi sometimes. But I never did have a concrete plan, how will I start Big Bang or how will I do something of that sort. So when I was in Mumbai, I started giving it a thought, why not to start something with myself only. I should start doing something with my own and what my passions are aligned with. So then I started Big Bang Media. I had a thought, I called a couple of my Jaipur friends whom I knew had a relevant skill set, which I was looking in co-founders to carry on with Big Bang Media. I called a couple of them, they were interested. In the beginning, I started Big Bang Media with a couple of my Jaipur friends, they are Isha and Cheet. So basic idea was we wanted to build a youth community and we wanted to create a media business out of it. So we wanted to do events, digital creation, social media, and a lot of other things. So we wanted to begin with our first event, that was Big Bang Youth Fest. So I pitched them that idea. I told them that we might do the event in December or January. And then I came back to Jaipur, since I couldn't find any good jobs in Mumbai. We started with Big Bang Youth Fest and started doing all of those things with my Jaipur friends. A couple of other friends also joined in because they saw what I was doing was kind of cool for them. So they also joined in. Then we had a group of volunteers. And on January 5th, we did our first event, Big Bang Youth Fest. And Avi and Dhaval was a part of Big Bang journey, for the event as well, because I knew Dhaval and he had a very good skill set in digital marketing, photography. So I always knew if I'll ever be doing the event, that Dhaval would be the person who will be covering the media aspect of it. So I had a talk with Dhaval. Dhaval was also interested. So he also came down, Avi came down, and they also liked the idea. And after that, Avi joined in for the Big Bang. And after that, in the lockdown, we did a couple of quarantine fests, which was over Instagram Live. Right now, we are doing a program called Big Bang Connect, which is a networking program. We call guests every day, and we basically network with them. We talk about random shit, movies, memes, and randomly we just want to build a connection with them. And it's an open call, so anybody can join in, anybody can talk. So we are also having a session today as well. So that's what, in a nutshell, what we are doing with Big Bang right now.
Oh, nice. So it's basic. If I had to summarize, it's basically like a youth community, and where you organize events so that you engage with audience in a more, millennial or a Gen Z way, so that the youth of the country can understand. Moving over to Avi now. now. So Avi, we got to know from Piyush that you joined a bit later. So first, let's go back a bit and tell us how was the journey right after college, and what were your plans, and how did you end up in Big Bang, and what are you currently doing there?
Like what happened, like in college also, you knew how I used to go for all these college interviews and all, right? You used to see me in most of it, right? So what basically I had in my mind is I was unsure, because in general, I believe that everyone has this thing in their mind that they plan it out till their undergrad, and no one thinks about like what they'll do after their undergrads. What I felt that at that point of time, that job is the right thing for me. But whenever I used to reach in the end of an interview, I used to just find some negative aspects about that particular job. That, okay, there's not a good pay, or this thing is not good, or some kind of problem from one job. And then after 4 or 5 months, I thought that, okay, I don't want to do a job. What I'll do is I'll apply for colleges abroad, and that's how I'll proceed. And after that, I'll see what I'll do, right? Like as Piyush's journey was going through Mumbai, my journey was going in Ujjain and Indore, where in Indore, I was preparing for my own GRE and IELTS exam. Then luckily what happened is I was like, Piyush being my college mate and like a really good friend of mine as well as my flatmate, I was in contact with him from a long time. So he used to tell me that, okay, he's facing a similar kind of problem, where his journey was going through getting placed in a very good job, and after that realizing that a job is not for him. Then after me getting good score in GRE and all, I was free at that point of time. So I felt that, okay, my friend is doing a great job, and I went 2 or 3 days before the event, and I helped them out during the whole event. And after working from the start of the day or overnight until the last day when the event gets over, at that point of time when the music was being played, I felt that, okay, this is something that I really want to do, and this is my journey, because even if I'm working 24 hours, I'm not feeling tired at all. So this is something which I believe is my passion. So I talked to Piyush regarding this, like I want to do it, and I'll be like, I feel that, okay, we can take this to Indore also. So Piyush was open to it, and he said that, okay, you can join. And after that, I went back to Indore, and we had it planned out that, okay, we'll do the next event in Indore. Piyush and the team, we started planning the next event in Indore. But in the month of February, and I would say we were even looking for the COVID situation. So then we cancelled the event that point of time, and then we started all these events, the online part of it. Yeah, so that's in like my journey with Big Bang.
Okay, one thing which interestingly you pointed out that you were preparing for masters, and given the current scenario, you could not go there, and that's how you got associated with Big Bang. So what are your future plans when you talk about Big Bang, or even your personal life for that matter, given that it's all in very early stages? I understand it is a very dicey decision to make right now, but just on your personal affection towards the company.
Yeah, truly saying, like me and Piyush, we never had a chat regarding this thing that, okay, what we'll do. Because for us, like I got my admit in way back in December. So from that December, like December 2019, we had in our mind that, okay, it's a startup and we have to look for this year itself, right? So we know that this COVID situation happened, but I personally had this thing in my mind that, okay, if Big Bang and everything goes well, education can be done anytime in your life. So what I felt that if this is my passion, and if I'll invest 2 or 3 years at least, like in this business, and if I'm getting the return, then I would have gone for year, like an year to year base. Truly saying, I haven't given a proper thought about it that much.
But I understand. Obviously, it's a tough decision, and it's a startup, so you have to go step by step. We can't just map out 10 years into the future and see and tell where it is going. So okay, so let's move on. I think Dhaval is patiently waiting for us to get to him. And Dhaval, Piyush has already spoken about you on how you already have experience in digital marketing and media aspects, and thought that how you would be the right fit for the company. So okay, tell us your journey through college. What were your plans initially when you were graduating, and how did you become associated with Big Bang, and what do you do there?
Yeah, so during the college, I was into photography, and to be honest, I'm not a person who has only one hobby. So I love photography, I love filmmaking, I love designing, I love editing. So even after college, when I was working with clients, one main problem with the client was that they were one-time clients. So if I work with them, either it's for photography, either it's for videography, or it's for filmmaking. There was no fun in it because I was not associated with them for the entire duration of say 1 year or 2 years. And I wanted a place wherein I can combine everything together, wherein I can combine the branding thing, digital marketing, photography, everything. So I remember it was, I think, September or October when Piyush was in Mumbai, and he was talking about his idea for a Big Bang wherein they connect with youth through digital media and of course events. So I was very intrigued with it. So I thought maybe we can give it a try, and I had the freedom of setting up the digital space, how we post content on social media, how we do the entire event, what sort of things have to be covered during the day of the event. So I was very interested in it. So that's how it went. And then during January, I went to Jaipur and I really enjoyed it. Now, what I realized is that it was a two-way street. Maybe if you talk to Piyush, he'll say that, he benefited a lot from, my photography and digital marketing, but it was actually two-way. Now, the one area where I lack a lot is networking. So I thought, this is a space where, apart from photography, videography and filmmaking, I can, benefit out of networking. I talk with very less number of people. So I thought maybe Big Bang is a space where, I can come in contact with a lot of people, meet a lot of friends. And so it was very beneficial. And I thought, maybe I should join in. And obviously, Piyush is my, very close friend. So it was always fun working with him.
Hey, that's nice. But, while you were saying all of this, I did notice that you never mentioned what were your immediate plans right after college. So did you have a plan that you'll take a job, or were you always determined that you wanted to start something of your own or be associated with a startup and work in that culture?
So taking a job was never in my mind. I hate jobs, to be honest, because I don't like working for somebody. I like working with people. So I like working alongside rather than under them. So I always wanted to start my own venture. And after graduation, I was already working on my own. I had clients. I was taking assignments for filmmaking, photography. So it was going. But the only thing I was missing is because I didn't have a fixed client wherein, I can talk to them, everybody, I can ideate with them. So I was a sole person running the business. So with Big Bang, I saw that there is a team wherein I can connect with like-minded people, do digital marketing, do photography. And that's how I got associated with them. And already I'm working as a photographer.
That's nice to hear. Okay, so one thing, like to all three of you. So, given that all three of you had various experiences, Piyush, when you had a job, you started working on that, but you didn't like it, and then you started your own company. Avi, you were planning for your masters, but then life came and life hit you, and you realized your passion and you joined the startup. Dhaval, who is always like, no, I don't want to work under a boss. I am my own boss. He's working in that direction. So I would like to ask all three of you that as a young person, as somebody who has just graduated, how tough it is to not look at the monetary factors as well. Because I understand that all of us have invested a lot of time, money in all of this, and at some point you would want to earn it back. You would want to support yourself. So having the courage to join a startup, giving full time in it, it's just a dilemma that I think many people of our generation have, and all of us would like to hear on what are your personal opinions on it. And this time, let's go with Avi first.
So basically, I have this thing in my mind that, okay, obviously, I would say that I'm very blessed in this perspective that I have a good financial support from my parents. So even I was in my college, my parents had told me this thing that, okay, don't ever pressurize yourself, that even if you don't want to do a job or ever in your life you feel that you don't want to do that degree itself, right? So you just come back home and we'll find a way out. Like I had always in my mind this thing that I have a fallback. So personally, I always felt that, okay, in this sector, I never had this in my mind that, okay, I have to find a job, where in my college, I felt that there are a lot of people who felt that they have to find a job so that they could in a manner financially support their family. So for me, that was not a problem. But again, like as an individual, everyone thinks that, okay, they have to be financially independent as soon as possible. So what I did is in the initial months after my college, I used to think that, okay, in what manner I could earn. But then I started working freelance, like I used to do random freelancing. So in that manner, I used to connect with people. So I used to earn a bit. But when I found out that, okay, Big Bang is my passion and I have to do it, like I kept with it. And like I was not thinking about money, because in this manner, I had Piyush to support me also. But you just need one person, and that's what I feel, that you just need one person to just tell you that, okay, man, if this is your passion, you need to work your heart out. And these are like early years, right, of where we can invest our time. So that's why I felt that I could invest my time and not think about money.
People usually say that these are our formative years where we have the energy and time to spend on new learnings, on new ventures, and learn from our mistakes. So yeah, I think that is probably a well said answer. Now, moving on to Piyush, what are your views in this scenario? You left a well-paying job to start this. So how was the transition? What are your opinions regarding this?
Yeah, so actually I've thought about it pretty deeply about this whole thing. So my views on it, right now we're in the beginning of a career, like a professional career. So we can take as much risk right now because like we don't have any responsibility, and we can take risks, and like we don't have like a fixed career path. I genuinely believe in the like first 5 years of your 20 to 20, you should do as many things as you want to do. And in these 5 to 10 years, you figure out like what is the best thing that you enjoy the most. And since I also do a lot many things, so I will figure out like what's the best thing for me. And then in the next part of my career, I can focus on that thing and make it big. And assume like right now when I also quit the job in my previous company in Mumbai, I also had the same thought. Because like if I would have continued in that job for like a couple of years, and then I would have realized that no, that this job is not for me and this is not my passion and I want to start something else. At that time, it would have been much difficult for me to quit that job because I already had a financial income in that job, and it would have been much difficult to switch career paths after 5 years in professional journey. So, like, if you're privileged enough, I think you should follow your career path this way only, because in the end outcome will be a much larger if you follow a conventional career path. Because right now, I also personally believe that like the formal education we are getting in the degrees and everything, they are outdated. Like they're not needed in the real world. Like if you're interested in something, you can build a career out of it right now, because in 21st century, like there's a market for everything, like legit everything.
You also resonate with what I think all of us say, where this is the time where we can take risk. And I think from both of you, one thing which is very prominent, I could say, is the support from your family, the backing that you have, and the support that you get from there gives you the courage to pursue your interest. Now, speaking to someone who has always had a mindset right from the very early days. So Dhaval, over to you now. How did you come to this conclusion? Like, do you have any personal experiences that made you come to this conclusion? Usually when we see majority, or that's why we call herd-minded people, that they want to, work, beat any job, but with a stable income, because beat any number of reasons. But you had a fixed mindset that, no, I don't want to do that. I want to be my own boss. I want to pursue my own venture. How did you come up with that conclusion? What experiences pushed you towards that?
Yeah, so the major thing that I experienced while working for someone, I have worked previously, say for example, I've done internships, and then I've worked with senior photographers in the past during the college. So what I experienced is that they don't listen to you easily. So even if you have something creative in your mind and you throw it to them, they don't listen to you. And then eventually if this thing continues, then you will lose your confidence. So is it the right thing? Am I doing? Am I right? So you don't do any mistakes. And then it becomes a habit to work for someone. So I didn't like it. I don't know. I think I really didn't enjoy it. So I thought, yeah, maybe I should do my own thing. And one of the major things that I was able to say it, yeah, so I will do my own venture, is because for me risking is a luxury. Like most of us around here sitting here right now, the risking is a luxury because our parents have given us all the financial freedom. So you can do anything you want. You need to just enjoy it. And I didn't have any financial pressure from my parents, so I was able to risk everything. I can say that I will work for my own venture, and still if I don't bring in money, they won't say a thing, at least for 1 year or 2 years. That was the major motivation for me to do my own thing. And second thing is, if I'm associating myself with a startup, let's say Big Bang, so I didn't think it in monetary terms initially, because I thought it's an investment. Say for example, even if I'm working for them, still I will gain something out of it. So I will be able to network with people. So I think that's what's the major thing that I got out of it. Yeah, and one thing during the college also, and eventually when I started photography 5 years back, I realized is that no matter what you do, you will get money eventually. So if you're good at something and you're enjoying it, you may get money maybe within a month or even within a year. But if you're really working hard and if you're good at it, eventually it will bring you money. Maybe you will do something really, really great, which goes really viral, and maybe some people start noticing your work, but eventually it will bring money. Maybe it will take 1 month, maybe it will take 1 year, maybe it will take 5 years, but it will bring in money in the future.
And adding one more thing to what Dhaval said, like I remember once, like Dhaval told me this thing that like we were like having a chat when like we had to tick right in our college that are we interested in the job placement or not. Like I will tell you, Anshul. So what he told me is, we asked Dhaval like, why haven't you opted for it also? Like just at least get an experience. So he told us that like, say if I'll get a job, if I'm very passionate about that thing for my work for next 2 years, I'll be easily able to earn it. So he was very confident, and like his confidence towards his particular strength, it's so portrayed to me in general, because like he is one of the persons who I met that, okay, if a person is very passionate about a thing and if he's confident about his own skill, then he can achieve anything, even if he doesn't have a financial support or anything, because there requires just a element of risk, that if a person can risk their time and energy and effort and not think about the failures, then they can easily achieve it. That's what I believe in.
So that was a really good insight to, I think, all three of your minds. Okay, so now that we have got some insights on how you came to be associated with Big Bang Media, and what are you doing there, and your insights behind working in a startup rather than pursuing a job or anything for that matter. So let's talk about the company more. So Piyush, first of all, how did the name Big Bang Media came into your mind? It seems weird.
I told you, like, so I quit the job. So I had many friends in Mumbai. So I called one of them and I was like living with them like for a month. When I decided that, yeah, I want to do something like of this sort, like the idea of Big Bang was fine, like what we are going to do. So from that time onwards, I started thinking on different names, like what can be named. Yeah. So one day, Big Bang, the name Big Bang to me. And I found it very nice because Big Bang, like the ideology behind Big Bang is like because of Big Bang the universe started, right? So that is what Big Bang Media is. So the basic idea is that we come in and begin with something new, like begin with new thought or like begin with anything new. So that's the core concept of Big Bang.
And also, like, I thought like the Big Bang name is sort of cool. Like it also delivers the culture of the company, like the culture I wanted to build. So that's why, like, I think it was a perfect name.
For me, as an individual who joined after the name was set up, what I had this perception in my mind, as well as I told Piyush about. You'll know about our journey. We are some kind of person who not instantly knew that, okay, we have to do something, right? And we believe that there are a lot of people who are in this scenario where they don't know what they have to do because they have opted for one field and they feel that, okay, they have to do this job and they'll do it for their life. So for me, what I feel is Big Bang is also a platform for the youth to connect with some individuals who have established something through their passion that they have established. Either they have converted their passion into something or they have created something new which have been their passion and they have incorporated some new elements into it. So when we connect those individuals, established curators, individuals, artists, and we bring them on the stage, we connect them to the audience where those audience are able to connect with those individuals who are established and feel that vibe from their journey that, okay, even they were not clear in their path. Like people who want to follow their passion, they should, because they can create money and they can create fame out of their passion rather than doing a job which they don't like.
Yeah, and what I want to add is that, so when you hear the word Big Bang, so obviously as Piyush said it, that it's the start of the universe. So that's how everyone starts their talent journey. So if I'm good at photography, initially I was nothing. I didn't know anything about photography. I didn't know how to hold a camera. But then one fine day I come across something, I hear someone, and then my talent starts to expand. And that's how I relate to Big Bang. And the second thing is that Big Bang Media is, I think, a very major problem solving startup. Because initially, as a photographer, when I was starting out, I didn't have anyone to look up to. So I didn't have anyone from whom I can learn, who I can ask something. And there was no one who was very approachable to me. And with Big Bang Media, what I feel is that it's a platform wherein, you can connect with the people, you can ask questions one-on-one, learn about their journey, and also, most importantly, you can learn about the failures. And I think that's very important, and that's what I like about Big Bang.
That's actually a very wholesome attitude all three of you have towards the name and your journey behind it. So why don't we go to the crux, which from what I understand, all three of you really got into the idea of working together. That is the Big Bang Youth Festival. Now, let's start with Dhaval. So Dhaval, tell us, how was your experience of the event? What was the event from your perspective, and what did you cover? And what was that one thing which got you attracted to this initiative that you wanted to join it as a whole?
Yeah, so during the event, I was taking care of the entire media coverage. So be it taking pictures of the event and also taking videos of the event and eventually put it on social media. It's not feasible for everyone to commute to the event venue and listen to their speakers. So it was an important goal for all of us to record everything and then put it on social media so it can reach to as many people as possible. Thing which I liked about Big Bang was that everyone was so approachable. So every speaker we had, they were very approachable, and then it was a very closed space. It was not a very big space wherein the audience is very far away and the speaker is very far away, and there was no major gap between them. So it was very closed space, and people can just ask the question straight away. So that's what I liked about the event.
Do you have any personal stories that you would want to share?
It was my first experience as a speaker itself over there. So I was speaking about photography and my journey along with 3 other creators, and it was my first experience actually talking about my journey. So I had my own fears about speaking in public, but then it was a very nice experience and I learned a lot from it.
Okay, now moving on to Avi.
Yeah, I would say that in the first event in Jaipur, I was an assistant sort of person where, like, me and Piyush in our college days, we have worked a lot. Like, we have worked for startups and for different like small events of different corporations, multinational companies and all. So he knew that, okay, I could handle people and work work on it. I was working with all these individuals, all these volunteers who were given different charges. Like in the starting of the day, I was looking in arranging all these things. At the later of the time, I was managing and like all the speakers who were there. Half of the time I was there in the speakers room, and as we have workshops also, so I was guiding people through towards where the workshop is going on and solving any problem that can
basically happen. Logistical problems and operations, all of that.
Yeah, so that's what like my main job was.
You told us that event basically inspired you, or let's say gave you that courage to leave what you were doing that time and join this company.
Okay, so for me, what the main thing that made me just like put a stamp on the thing that okay, this is my place of work, is that I landed in Jaipur a day before, and from that time itself I was at the site. It would have been around like 24-hour plus, and we just left for like 4 to 5 hours, but rest of the time we were there at the event, from doing the lifting work to guiding everyone out. So for all that 24 hours I was not feeling tired, not even thinking about food or any other thing. I was fully energetic because of the reason that I was doing something which I was passionate about. So for me, I have always believed in this thing that if you are feeling passionate about something and when you find that passion, you should never leave it. So that's what I got it from that event, that okay, I know what my passion is now, which I have been looking for like around 6 months, but it's now in front of me and I have realized it. So yeah, that made me going till now.
That's nice. Okay, now let's come to the person whose brainchild was this event. So Piyush, tell us, what was the event? How did you come up with the idea? And for you specifically, talk to us about the challenges that you went through, during this event.
Thing is the Big Bang. So I'll basically tell you what the event was. So like we basically had speakers from diverse fields, and the basic concept was this speak, and all the speakers were like the best in Jaipur, and some had the name nationwide also. So they were the people best in their respective fields you can find in a city like Jaipur. They were talking about their journey and like how all the challenges, like what we are talking right now. And it was a very candid chat with all of those speakers. So we bring them at one place at Big Bang Youth Fest, and the people can come in, they can ask questions, they can get inspired from them. And apart from that, we also had workshops going on simultaneously as well, like graphic designing, theatre, music and so on. So that was the concept, and we built the whole experience in such a way that when you enter the event, you feel like you are not in some different place, like you feel like home. And also I'll tell you one truth, the planning of these sort of event is not very easy. Sometimes like people think like it's very glamorous and like they get attracted to this field. But I'm telling you, like when I right now also look in hindsight, like how the whole event happened. I also can't believe like I made it all happen. Like I designed the whole concept. Like I bring in all the people together, and it happened. Because right now, if you tell me to do the same sort of event again, within the first thought that will strike in my mind will be like it's so hard, so difficult. That's also another thing which I discovered while doing the event, which I still follow now. The thing is like when you start a difficult journey, when you're thinking about a journey, it looks hard, it looks difficult. But when you start on that journey and you're on the way, then things starts to become easier, and like you get the way, like you find a way to reach that destination. Doing is more important sometimes. Sometimes we try to make the perfect plan. We try to wait for the situations to be perfect. But sometimes that's not the correct way, because like then you keep on thinking and thinking. You never do the things. But that's why like if you have a vague thought also in your mind, you just start with that thought, and in that journey you'll get ideas to make it better, to improve on that thing. So that was the whole concept of Big Bang, and I basically like it was a very good experience for me as well, because like the person I was in the Big Bang, like the person I portrayed myself to the volunteers, to speakers, like it differed. So I learned how to manage people, I learned how to talk to different people, I learned how to lead a team of people. Another thing very overwhelming, that like whenever I used to approach someone for help for the event, all my friends, like they were very generous, and like they used to offer all their help. Like we had a LED screen behind the event, so the LED screens costs a whole lot of amount of money. So one of my friends' dad's business is the LED thing. So I called him up, I was like, I'm doing this event and I need a LED screen. So he was like, yeah, take it. And I asked them what's the charges are gonna be. He was like, no, I won't charge from you. So like that was very overwhelming thought. And apart from that, like there were a couple of people who were working with me, and like they were working for the event only, and they were working with their full might, full heart. They used to be at the venue 24/7, and they never complained. Like they worked like without any complaints. So that was very like overwhelming thought. Like the people were doing so much for an idea that I had. So that was something like amazing and like it's beautiful.
And one thing which I would like to add, just like you said, that it's, a truth bomb, that it's not very easy to do. So what I saw during the event was that it's actually a very high pressure situation, because a lot of things can go wrong, and they actually go wrong sometimes. Yeah, it is a lot of things. Say, for example, you have to take care of the guest, you have to maintain the hospitality, you have to maintain professionalism, then you have to make sure that there are no technical glitches during the entire event. And when they happen, it's very embarrassing and it's very awkward. Say, for example, you call someone who is a very big person, a very big influencer, and when they are taking their event and when they're answering questions to the audience, and then the mic suddenly goes off, so it's very embarrassing and it's not very professional. And when this happens, it's not good. So you have to take care of everything that happens during the event, and it's so high pressure that you don't even have time to drink water or take anything else, see your text messages, anything. You're so busy. And I think that's the very important thing, because most people, they just ignore that these things can happen.
Like, even adding to what Dhaval and Piyush said, even I had 2 or 3 things which I'll add. When Piyush said when he started working on these things. So what I believe, people who try to enter the industry, they feel that an event is something which it requires a stage, speakers and the curators and the platform and the audience and a good marketing skill, right? What I feel one thing is also required is a good planning process, because for you to make a art piece, you have to think about the color and what you want to portray on a canvas way before you are painting it, right? In that same manner, when you want to portray an event, you need to also think about how you will have to figure out the entrance, exit, as well as like one element that we had in our event was different speakers and the curators room, where when we are saying about Big Bang Youth Connect, in that speakers and the established artists and all, they're connecting with the youth, right? But even those creators also, they don't have a platform in general where they could connect with themselves, with other established people from different fields, right? The space where we provided those individuals to sit, where they could also connect with each other. So this was one feedback which we got after the end of the event. Other than the event being smoothly run as well as being properly managed, what the artists and every individual told us is that because of you, we got to know people from different fields, and your process of us keeping us connected with the youth also was so planned out that we were also not disturbed to a certain extent, where our peace of mind was also kept in mind, which not a lot of event companies do.
That's nice. It's good to hear about the behind the scenes while you're working for such a big event and the challenges that you face. So thank you, all 3 of you. Now, I won't take much of your time, and I'll only direct this question to Piyush now. If you could quickly state what are your future plans? Let's say, you had this one big successful event. You have amassed a team who's so talented, who are your friends working with you, and suddenly life throws you the bomb of COVID where you cannot organize these events. So you started doing something virtual. So how does your future look like with the company, or how does the company's future look like?
Yeah, so honestly, like because of COVID right now, because we were in a live space, like the revenue model that we generated of Big Bang Media were from the events basically. So before COVID, like we had a concrete plan set up like of doing events in tier 2 cities in India, like Surat, Indore, and again like some mini events in some other cities as well. But like since COVID happened in the beginning, we thought I personally thought like in the 2-3 months things are gonna be okay, because in the beginning of the COVID, like India, like we had a lockdown pretty early. So in India, the projection of the cases were a little low compared to other countries. So we thought like in the 2-3 months, the things are going to be okay and the things will be back to normal, but it didn't happen. So right now, like we're also figuring out like how to plan for future, because the thing is like the basic concept of the organization that we had was in the live space. We wanted to do things in live space and then convert it to digital. So now we have to reverse the whole model. Now we have to think digital first, and then we can think of going like on ground again, because we don't know when the things are going to be normal. So right now we're also figuring out on the way like what the future is going to be like. One more message to like, since I believe like you might have a lot of people who want to become entrepreneurs in the future. So I have a very good message, like people, like because of all these movies, all the culture, like entrepreneurship has become a cool thing. So people want to be entrepreneurs just to be cool. So like you can believe it's cool, but it's a very difficult job to do, because right now, because of whole COVID situation, like I personally was not in a very good mental state for last couple of months, because I didn't knew like how to get the company forward, how to do different things. Like, because I I will have to motivate the team who's working with me. If I'm not motivated, how can I motivate other people? So like it brings a whole lot of new responsibilities when you are going on a journey ahead on your own. And right now, like I'm saying, I don't have a concrete plan for future, like what we're gonna do. Like I can't tell you like what we will be doing in the next 6 months. For me, I tell you frankly, like there was a period in the lockdown for like 1.5 months when I didn't do anything, because in entrepreneurship you have to generate ideas. My brain wasn't able to generate any new ideas, like how we are gonna do things. And that's the most important thing when you are starting your own startup. So that's another aspect of it which I think everyone should look also when they are starting their entrepreneurship journey.
Also, what I see, Anshul, is that as long as your motto is clear, say for example, for Big Bang, maybe our motto is to connect as many youth as possible. So as long as our motto is constant, I don't think that, organizing physical event is very feasible right now. But still, if your motto is clear, you can still do it by going online. And as long as you have your motto clear, you can always find ways to creatively do your things. But still, easier being said than done. So we are still figuring out a way on how to connect people online, because even during the COVID, there were many people who were organizing live session and workshop, and I think it has reached a saturation point wherein you need to be very creative in order to attract people towards your brand. So we are still figuring out, but yeah, we have a clear motto. We are still working on it.
One thing that I would personally like to say, and to everybody, as Piyush said, that you don't get inspired by TVF pictures in Silicon Valley and think that this is a glamorous job. Everything has its own ups and downs. You have to be hardworking and be smart on your feet to tackle with these scenarios. And I hope best of luck to you, and I'm pretty sure you will do justice to the name of the company, Big Bang Media. You'll come back with a bang, with a new event, with a new creative idea. I'm sure it will all go great. But before we close this off and end it on a happy note, why don't we bring it back into something personal? So now that all three of you were college mates and then building mates and some of the flat mates and now working in a company together, since we don't complement each other, why don't I take this opportunity to force each one of you to probably tell what did you learn from the other person and what is one thing which you lack in yourself which the other person complements. So let's start with Avi.
For Piyush, I would say that from him in the starting, what I got is like the courage, that there was one element which I lacked. It was understanding what you really want in life and just going for it. The risk factor, everyone wants to. So from him I got it, if you are skilled in it, you should follow that, because if you're very good in it, you'll have to work hard. The journey might be tough, but you'll achieve it. And so Dhaval, I would say that he's very skilled. So from him, like not from the Big Bang point of view also, but from the past 3 years, like from past 3.5 years, right? 2 years he was my flatmate also. So like I have seen that he was very passionate about whatever he did. So his passion also brought his creativity, because what he used to do is, because he being passionate about photography and all the media aspect, he knew like he wants to follow that. I also understood from him that okay, like you need to be focused also on one thing, because finding your passion is just not the only option in life. You need to work for it also.
Correct. That actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, now let's move on to Piyush.
So for Dhaval, is it like he keeps on upskilling himself? Like he's a very good student, because he told me about his life. So like when he was a kid, so he learned how to make apps because he was genuinely curious in how the apps work. And he used to sell apps on the app platform in the days of Nokia. Like right now also, like he's studying about digital marketing. He also learned about photography. So he keeps on learning new skills, like which I think I lack after a certain point of time. So that's one thing which I admire about Dhaval. And for Avi, like whenever Avi does something, if I tell Avi to do a certain task, so Avi does that in a very planned way. So there's a science behind it. He'll put down the names, he'll put down the procedure, and then he'll do things. So there's a science behind his process, which I lack. I really find that very admiring.
That's nice. Now let's conclude this with Dhaval.
Yeah, so I will start with Piyush first. So one thing which I like about Piyush is, now it might sound very negative, but it's actually very positive, is because he's a little rigid when it comes to working for something. So say for example, when I'm working and it's very hard to convince him. So that can be very beneficial if people are working under him. So you can't convince him that this is something which is right or this is something which is wrong. So, so sometimes when people are working under you and they don't want to do something, they might just convince their boss, okay, this might not work, and the boss usually agrees. So that's not the case with Piyush. As long as he believes in something that, yeah, it's right and it should be done, so it's very difficult to convince him that, yeah, it cannot be done. He will say, yes, it can be done, you have to do it. So that's what I like about Piyush. And second thing which I like about him is that he's very good with follow-ups and making people work for him. So that is something which I lack, because if I delegate my work to someone and if he's not able to do it, I will just say, okay, leave it, I will do it myself. And that brings my productivity level down. And that is not the case with Piyush, because he's very good with follow-ups. If someone is not working, so he will make sure they work. He will keep texting them, he will keep calling them, and he will make sure that the people under him work for him. So that's what I like about Piyush. And with Avi, I would like to say that he's very good with networking and networking with the people and making friends with them quickly. And I think that is a very big advantage when you are in a business or event management company, because you need to create networks very easily. You need to create networks very quickly. And I've not seen anyone better than Avi who can do it. So he's really good at it.
Hey, that's awesome. So it feels good talking good about each other. Just to conclude from my end, and to everybody who's listening, I know these three guys, I think for the past 3 years, though I'd lost touch with them, but at least for my small hobby of this podcasting, I could connect with them. Now I'll get to know a lot more of them. And one thing which I personally learned from all three of you that I want to say is, with Piyush and Avi, I've seen them together. They had basically shown early signs of Big Bang Media right in college. They were hosting, they were emceeing, they were organizing events, second year, third year. I've seen them, running around college, networking with people, talking with people, working in a team. And that's the thing that they do best. And I'm glad that they're pursuing in that area. And Dhaval being my classmate, I have known him. He has been, as Piyush said, upskilling himself, learning new things and applying them and using them in the market. It's just not about learning, but also applying it in the market and utilizing your strengths. So that is, I think, a very plus point. So thank you guys for gracing me with this opportunity for coming here.
Thank you, Anshul. Thank you for calling us.
Thank you, Anshul.
And with Piyush, guys, he has his own podcast.
Yeah, Baat with Isha and Piyush. You can find us on Instagram at Baat with Isha and Piyush.
So if you don't like my podcast, go there. And even if you like my podcast, go there. That's way more fun, I can guarantee. I'll leave the link in my description. And I'll just take this opportunity to force Dhaval into agreeing for a solo episode with me, because I think we have a lot to learn from him. And we also want to talk about his other startup, the Media Architects, if I'm not wrong. Correct?
Yes.
So, Dhaval.
Definitely, yes.
Great. We'll tune in with Dhaval and know about his story and other startup. And till then, thank you guys again so much for coming here and educating all of us who are in this age, who are dicey, and talking about the real life challenges and the ideas and the motivations that you have to go through with this. So thank you so much, and thank you listeners for listening to us. Till then, thank you. Tata, bye bye, good night.
Bye bye, good night.
Good night.
Good night. Bye bye. Bye.
Thank you to all the listeners. I'll catch up with you again soon with someone new and lots of interesting discussions. So, bye.